What's up, everyone? Jets Takeoff. Today, I want to talk about the players I think we could take with the 34th overall pick. We got a lot of options, and I want to talk about probably around 5 players. So the first player we have is Elijah Moore. He's a wide receiver, and you can do a lot of things with Elijah Moore. I mean, he is super versatile. Sometimes he took some snaps, kind of as a running back. He is a intriguing piece if you're an offensive coordinator, because you can do anything with this guy. I mean, you could probably run the Wildcat. Really, the possibilities are endless with Elijah Moore. He's very talented. His routes are overall pretty good, and he does provide some deep threat value to a team. So I think he would be a fine pick. And wide receiver, we do have some bodies in there, like Corey Davis and Denzel Mims and Crowder. But after this year, it's going to be lacking because Crowder's going to be gone. I feel like we got to get a quality wide receiver. And it's going to be harder to find one in the later rounds that kind of fits the mold that we need right now. Number 2, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. If he is here at pick 34, I am almost 100% positive the Jets will take him. We need a true linebacker in this defense. CJ Mosley's been out of football for 2 years, and we don't know if Jarrad Davis will be anything special. So we got to go take Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. His main strength is coverage. He's a great coverage linebacker, and we didn't have that last year. We might like to think that Mosley could become that again, but that's too much of a risk. Owusu-Koramoah is a super safe player because we already know what we're going to get with him. Sometimes he'll even line up in the nickel, but he is very, very good in coverage. And, I mean, I'm really high on him. I'm so surprised he didn't get taken in day one, but I feel like we need this true Mike leader kind of linebacker on this team. In San Francisco, a key piece of their defense was Fred Warner, a Mike linebacker who could kind of do it all. We got to get a guy who can cover and a guy who can command the defense and is instinctive. And Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah does all of those things. So if we were to take him at 34, I would be absolutely ecstatic. And considering we went all offense last night, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually started going defense. This guy is pretty popular. It's Tevin Jenkins, tackle. But he doesn't even have to play tackle. That's the thing. We already have George Fant, who did pretty well last season at right tackle. He played up to his contract, and the thing is, we could slot Tevin Jenkins over to right guard and keep McGovern at center, and our offensive line would be locked up for the future. I don't know how confident we are in Cam Clark. But anyways, Tevin Jenkins, he is a mauler type of lineman. I mean, he blocks until the whistle's over. He's fierce. He's a competitor. And he provides versatility. It's kind of like Elijah Vera-Tucker. I think a huge reason why we took Elijah Vera-Tucker was that he's versatile. This offensive line last year faced a lot of injuries. Mekhi Becton, he was out. Our guards were out. Greg Van Roten, Alex Lewis. It's why we took Vera-Tucker, because he could play all of those positions. Tevin Jenkins provides somewhat of that same versatility in a type of sense. And the thing is, I mean, he would just pair up so nicely on this offensive line. I think we'd really establish a ground and pound culture, which I think is what the goal of this offense will be with Coach Mike LaFleur. Mike LaFleur. Yeah, but the thing is, we just got to improve in our running game. It wasn't too strong last year. If we want guys like Ty Johnson, who have so much potential, to really ball out, we got to fix this offensive line. Because the thing is, we can make some running backs that aren't normally too good into pretty good statistical running backs if the offensive line can do their job and create gaps and holes in the A, B, and C gaps for these running backs to run into. Might as well just double it up with the offensive line and get it out of the way. Creed Humphrey, center. He is arguably the best center in the draft overall because he doesn't have the injury history. He's a team captain too. Don't forget that. In the press conference with Joe Douglas yesterday, he said that Zach Wilson and Elijah Vera-Tucker are leaders. This is pretty important. I feel like the trend will continue. Creed Humphrey, he wore the C on his jersey. Guys in the locker room in Oklahoma, they looked up to him. They played for him. I feel like he would be a great culture fit. And although center may not be the biggest position of need, I feel like we still could always upgrade the offensive line, and we might as well, because Zach Wilson, I think he'd do fine without the best offensive line in the league, but it doesn't hurt to just protect your quarterback. We didn't do it with Sam Darnold. We took a chance, and it flopped miserably, and we just can't let that happen to another quarterback. Creed Humphrey is first-round talent in my eyes. I know Landon Dickerson might have some better film, but the injuries are just too scary, so Creed Humphrey would be a pretty good pick at pick 34. All right, next player we have is Asante Samuel, cornerback. Cornerback is our worst position on the team, minus kicker. It is not going to be good if we roll out with the same guys from last year into this upcoming year. We don't know if we're going to bring back Brian Poole. I'd love to bring him back. I don't know why we haven't done that. But if we're not going to bring him back, then that sets up a perfect opportunity for us to go draft a guy like Asante Samuel Jr., His father had NFL seasoned experience, so he's been coached up by his father to a tremendous level. He knows all about the game, and he is the type of fit that we need in New York. He can line up in the slot. If Brian Poole were to leave, we could put him there. We can test him out. He can hold his own fair enough for a second-round pick. Obviously, he's not like a J.C. Horn or anything, but he could eventually become pretty good in coverage. And I feel like he's a reliable guy who will be the guy that is going to fight on third downs against these receivers. He's not just going to let the other team get easy first downs. Asante Samuel is a huge player that I think we need to consider, and I think the second round to the third round is where we definitely need to address cornerback. So I feel like if we were to, Asante Samuel might be that good of a player to where we can't pass up on him at 34 if our coaching staff and Robert Saleh really want to bring him in the building. And then the last guy I want to specifically talk about is Pat Freiermuth, the tight end. The tight end is like the quarterback's best friend. They are the safety blanket. Our tight end roster, we don't really know. Chris Herndon, he played really well in 2018, but 2019 didn't play pretty much, and then 2020 last year, he struggled big time. And we signed Tyler Kroft, but he's not going to be tight end number one. Pat Freiermuth is a guy who is highly regarded. If it weren't for Kyle Pitts, he'd probably be tight end number one in the entire class. And if you look back, I mean, we got Dustin Keller, and Mark Sanchez loved him. He was the check down, basically, for Mark Sanchez. He'd just dump it off to Dustin Keller. And Pat Freiermuth, he provides value of blocking, but also catching the football. I feel like he'd be a nice, hard-nosed player to fit this team and what we want it to eventually become in New York. But anyways, these are all just suggestions and possible ideas. I know these are the common guys, but it's because I think this is these are the guys that will be considered if we stay at 34. Because I think we will trade down, but if we were to some chance stay at pick number 34, these are the guys who I'd like to take. But I'll just give my list. And number one, I love Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I would take him in a heartbeat. He's that good of a linebacker. Probably number two, Tevin Jenkins, just because filling the offensive line, we're done. That's the thing. We're done with offensive line. We don't have to worry about it for an extended period of time. It's a luxury. We can focus on other premium positions. And I'd say third is Elijah Moore, just because we need some better receivers. I like Braxton Berrios, but he's not going to be the future in New York. Crowder's going to be gone after the season. We're not going to bring him back at all. I like Mims, but he still kind of has some things to prove in the NFL. I like Corey Davis, and he's probably the only set-in-stone guy that I really feel truly confident about. So let me know what you guys think. Any other players that I missed? I thought about including a safety on here, but I think if anything, that's more of a round 3 type of pick. So let me know what you guys think. Check out my videos for my draft reaction. I uploaded both of them. I'll catch you on the next one.